So let's talk about my favorite topic, which is, of course, me. I have a extensive publishing background. I started at what was called the world's largest bookstore in New York, when there was one Barnes & Noble back in 1986. So I've done everything from bookstore clerk to going on the road and covering 6 states, calling on colleges, nursing departments, selling textbooks, nursing textbooks, became a nursing editor. Obviously, my nursing and medical background are why I'm here today. Then I went to a company called the Princeton Review, which is an education publisher. I did pretty much everything there, and from there, the company went public. I decided that I would wish them luck and move on to this new world of publishing on the electronic side, and started consulting with major publishers. One of those publishers was Oxford University Press, where I joined as Vice President and Digital Publisher. Moved into business and corporate development. I spent a lot of time thinking about and working with all the major technology companies of the world to integrate Oxford's content into devices, platforms, websites, etc. And from there, I recently, in August, joined Bloomsbury, where I'm now running global sales and marketing of both print and digital. There is some connection here. I do have a blog. My blog is more of an essay-style blog. I take on the issues that are the intersection of print and digital publishing and sort of try to explain to the world what's really going on from behind the curtain. So why am I talking to you? Well, understanding the history of the digital revolution within print publishing is, I think, extremely important as a learning point. You guys are already digital, and you're trying to find the business models that are going to work for you in the future. Looking at the evolution of the largest content producers of the world and how they've slowly evolved towards digital, I think would be very important. Crossing the intersection, those print and digital has always been, the intersection of print and digital has always been where I have focused in my career. And of course, well, as Ryan said, because Jancis hooked me up totally. I mean, I'm here in Austria for the weekend. This is fantastic. So, let's talk about the early years. And when I look back on this, I couldn't believe how digital the early years really were. So, starting and planting the seeds, the first scrapes, as I called it, the digital dawn. I mean, in 1990, I hadn't even yet used a PC. By 91, I had asked at my company to replace a secretary with a PC. That was the investment I was willing to swap because I was so much more efficient and effective. By 1994, I was using this newfangled thing called email, and from there connected with a professor at MIT who, using these very modern new disks, not those 5-inch floppies that were so old-fashioned, these very modern disks, we created the first textbook in the world that came with a test bank in diskette form. Students could then plug that into their computer and drill themselves and take tests. This was a very big thing in the world of medical publishing. By 1995, we published the first textbook that had no printed questions in the book. It was all digital. So then came the Interweb, which is a Saturday Night Live skit joke Will Ferrell makes about George Bush referring to the internet. Back then, I don't know if you could see this, the Interweb, so 14.4K is pretty fast, right? The Interweb became suddenly a platform that publishers were really starting to look at and say, is this something that we should be investigating, or is it a threat? One of the areas that I worked on at this company, the Princeton Review, were